Hey guys, I thought I'd bring you on a trip with me today to my garden because I am super delayed with my garden because ever since Christian came, it's been non-stop stuff that I've been doing with him, and it's just been super hectic around here, so I haven't really been able to do much, but we have been going out a lot. So I've been driving around, getting things and stuff done with him to get his life a little bit settled and comply with a lot of things that have to be done and things that he's applying for and things like that. So yeah, we are now April, and I am just still cleaning my garden because I started it and then I had to leave it halfway. And then we've had a lot of rain here in the last 2 weeks, and the days that I could garden were the days that it would rain. So it's just been really crazy. But anyway, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about prepping because I haven't had a lot of time to do a lot of things. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that have helped me as we move forward into these price hikes at the supermarket and all those kind of things. A lot of people are used to buying certain items at the store, and you are going to see that when the prices start going up, there's a lot of things that you're going to have to say, I'm not be able to buy anymore. But that's only because you're paying somebody to make it for you, and they're making it for you not in the healthiest way. They're making it for you with chemicals, and unfortunately, as things get worse, they're going to start substituting ingredients at the store for probably things that are not as good for you, or perhaps don't preserve your food as long. Don't mind me, I'm just pulling some of these old, just kind of sifting the soil here and pulling up some of the old roots from old plants and sticks and stuff that are here. That's just what I'm doing right now, because then I have to put my compost in here and then get planted. Hopefully I'll be planted by this afternoon. But anyway, so I've been doing this for years, where I realize every time I need to go buy something, I got to go to the store. So when you live pretty far from places like I do, if you run out of ice cream, you're not going to run and make a 6 mile and a 6 mile back trip. That's 12 miles just to pick up a pint of ice cream. So I learned how to make recipes so that I can be sustainable here and cook for myself. Now, early on in my prepping life, I invested a lot of money into equipment that I knew that I can make my own food with. It'll make my life easier if I had to make all of my food. So that is one thing that I recommend for young couples, especially if you're getting married and asking for gifts, is to spend and make sure you get stuff that you can take with you from years. Like I have KitchenAid, I have a pressure cooker, I have 2 Instant Pots, I have George Foreman, or an indoor grill, and I have an outdoor grill. Things that I know that I'll be able to use. But then living in Florida like I do, I have to be ready for hurricane and power down all the time. So it's normal for me to have these things because that's where I live, right? I have to be prepared for a lot of these things. So over time, I have learned and I have collected recipes where I can do a lot of my own things. Like I can make my own bread, I can make my own ice cream. And by the way, that video is coming up where I'm going to show you the ice cream recipe that. Now, I have made ice cream for a long time, but this ice cream recipe has really been the best that I've ever made. I've made all sorts of ice cream. I made it with the custard. I've made it with all of this fancy stuff. It takes a lot of time. But if you just want some ice cream really fast, start it in the morning. You can have it by dinner time, and it's simple ingredients. This is the one that I recommend. And I make all sorts of different flavors just from this basic recipe. So you'll see that coming up. And you can go to my blog and get the recipe there. I'll have the breakdown there for how I make it into different flavors. But I did want to tell you that right now, one of the things that you should be doing, whether you have been stocking up on food or dehydrating or whatever the things that you've been doing, is also have recipes on hand that you are going to make that are going to carry you through. Okay, so what I'm trying to talk to you about is things like let's say your family has 4 chicken breasts for dinner. Well, that ain't going to happen in the next few months. You can buy 2 chicken breasts and you can cut it up and put it into certain recipes where you add other ingredients, and it's filling, it's healthy, and everybody is full and they're eating a little bit less meat. So that's what I'm talking about. So these kind of recipes you can find online, and you can substitute things like, let's say ground beef. You have ground beef, you can make maybe mac and cheese with the ground beef in it in order to fill it. Sometimes you can take lentils, and you can also put lentils in your ground beef in order to make it go way longer. You know, instead of adding like 2 pounds of ground beef, you can add 1 pound of lentils with 1 pound of ground beef. So these kind of recipes, you should be collecting those now while we still have internet, because we don't know if we're going to have power outages. We don't know if our internet's going to go down. I mean, we really can't trust the system that's out there right now, right? So who is to say that it's not going to get worse? I don't know. And you know what? These are things that either way, you can pass these things down. If you do the work, you can pass these things out to your children later on, because these are the things that we should be passing on to the children. I mean, they teach you algebra in school. Never used algebra in my life. It's never been a choice for me to have a job that entails me to do algebra. So for me, I collect a lot of these kind of recipes so that I can leave them, and I have a cookbook in my kitchen where I've written down a lot of these recipes. So I know these are my go-to recipes. These are the kind of recipes that fill people. I can substitute. Sometimes I write in the margins. The Happy Planner, by the way, those are great cookbooks. They have physical cookbooks where you write down notes in there. So you can have, like, let's say on good times you might use 2 chicken breasts for this particular recipe, but now take your recipe and say, okay, if something were to happen where I could only put 1 chicken breast for 4 people, okay, what other things can I put in there maybe to fill it? Maybe some beans, some lentils, maybe some potatoes, some sweet potatoes. You know, those kind of things are the kind of things that you should be doing right now. It's going through your recipes and making notes and checking them, and maybe collecting some other recipes online that are going to help you so that you don't have to use the same amount of meat that you're using right now. Other recipes you should have is also meatless recipes, because when there is no meat, you should have recipes also for potatoes and sweet potatoes and filling types of things. So those are important also to have. Also is to learn how to make pasta, because pasta, you make it with flour. It's very simple to make. I have a pasta machine that I bought from KitchenAid years ago. It's an adapter that I put in my KitchenAid. So I'm able to make different pastas and lasagna noodles and things like that. I don't really use that because that takes a lot of my time during the day. But in a situation where I had to make something like that because I couldn't get pasta at the store, I could definitely, using flour, make my own pasta and make it fresh. So we can eat that, and we can mix it in with some other things, with some eggplant maybe, or some peppers or something like that. So those are the kind of things that you got to look into right now. You should be preparing yourself. Preparing yourself is not just physically, but it's also having those things to have ready in case something happens, and hopefully we won't ever have to use them. But now the work is done, and these are things you can also pass on to your children in the future, because we don't know what the future is going to hold for our children. But I know for one thing, they're not getting trained in the things that are going to keep them sustainable over time. Sorry, that's a plane going by. And always having to subject themselves to the store and purchasing things. So learn to make your own ice cream, because man, it is a treat if you weren't able to get ice cream and all of a sudden you can make, take a day to make a little bit and treat the family during hard times. Learn to make some desserts. Learn to make raw desserts. Learn to make desserts with fruits and vegetables, with fruits that you can make with strawberries and different things. Learn to make your own yogurt. And those are the kind of things that are going to get you by, because you're doing the work now. And also look for places locally where you could buy stuff, you know, if things were running low at the store, and you know, and find out what the situation there. There's a lot of co-ops in certain areas that you can join so that you can be a part of the farming there as well. So that's something else that you can get involved in and meet some people, maybe help and learn also. You can put in some time helping them as well with gardening and learning to garden and things like that. So I hope this video helps you a little bit. Stay tuned. I'm going to give you my ice cream recipe because I think you're really going to like it, and I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless. Hey, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.